Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
What's going on today, Jason?
So I have a, excuse me, I have I have a quinceañera that my daughter wants to plan. And I don't know if you guys are familiar, but quinceañera is pretty much like a Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm in a bit of a pickle as to whether I could or I should, or if I could afford it or should I do it.
How much is it going to cost?
So estimated is, I'm estimating between 10 and 15,000.
Wow.
And,
you got an itemized list on that?
No. Another detail on this is that I'm currently going through a divorce with her mother, and this is kind of being planned by her, and these are their prices or her prices as far as what they found. I'm just trying to see. The problem is that I have just recently actually fully funded my 6-month emergency fund, but that takes into account any support that I pay her, my ex-spouse. I don't know if I'm technically I can dip into that, but it's an emergency fund, and this is not an emergency.
Yeah. Not only that, you can't afford it. You're calling us, the way that you're talking, we know you can't afford it. Am I right? You can't afford 10 to 15
And they're
grand.
expecting you, so they're planning, she's planning it, and then they're going to expect you to foot the whole bill?
Not foot the whole bill, foot half. She was asking for, at the beginning of all these talks, was half of it, half of 10, which was 5, but I don't think that's realistic of what it would cost. I can, if I save up until the point of when this is supposed to happen, I could probably save about 4,000.
Okay.
But I'm just whether I should do this at this time in my life.
Jason, do you have any other debt, Jason?
No,
or
no
any
debt.
No debt. Okay, but you're fully funded emergency fund. And how much do you make a year?
Overtime's been good this year, so it's about at 120.
120, okay. So here's my 2 things that I keep thinking as you're talking. Number 1, how we define an emergency to actually dip into an emergency fund is when something is unexpected. So this doesn't really qualify because we know that she's going to be, Is it 16 years old or is it 15?
It's 15.
15, yeah, okay. So we knew she was going to turn 15. So it's not unexpected. Right. Is it urgent? Do I have to do it like right now? Yeah, I guess urgent would somewhat qualify, and because there's a date there. And is it necessary, right? So these are the 2 things. So honestly, this whole thing, it does not check off all those boxes for me. So no, it's technically not an emergency. So that's one part of the discussion. The second part is that you could bring together some money, right? And let's just say and pretend that it is 10,000. They want you to do 5. You could say 4. Could you take 1,000 out of the emergency fund to get to the 5? Sure. Like you could, right? I mean, it's not the end of the world. But my biggest problem with all of that, though, Jason, is that just like weddings, just like another party, just like vacations, anything, if you don't keep a strict budget and have a limit to what you're going to spend, it gets more expensive. I mean, a house, even when you build a house, same thing. Like the line continues to move. So Jason, if you decide to do this and to save the 4,000 for her, which I think would be great, right? Like I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Okay, Ken's not that happy about it. If you do it though, there has to be very clear communication and boundaries with your future ex-wife to say, and your daughter. I would bring her in on it and say, guys, this is what's going on. Here's what I will have for you. This is it. This is all I can do in good conscience and in good faith at where I am in life. This is what I have. Work with that, right? And you set the tone, you set the amount on what you can do, Jason. Because if you tell them, sure, I'll do half, it's going to go from 10 to 15 to 20, and there's going to be no boundaries. So you have to set that boundary. Okay, Ken's dying over here.
I'm dying. I agree with everything Rachel said. I just want to say this. I'm going to answer this as if I was in your shoes. And I don't know if there's any special features to this party, so I'm completely ignorant. But if my daughter Josie, who by the way turns 15 tomorrow, if she came to me and said, I want a big party and I've got a budget, I think it's going to be 10, I would ask for an itemized list. There's no way I'm even going to give 4, 5, 6 without seeing what are the specific, where in the world is 10 grand going for a party for a bunch of 15-year-olds? So I'm starting there. And so I would say that everything Rachel said is absolutely right. You give your number after they give you numbers. You don't just get, well, it's going to be 10, maybe 12, maybe 15, you give half. And you have to ask for specifics and have a real conversation with your daughter. And you're in a very tough situation now with the divorce, and now she's got 2.
And don't let the guilt right over that, Jason.
Just say, baby, here's the deal, okay? Give me your budget. What do you want for your party? Let's just walk through it. Let's teach her. This is a teaching moment to go, yeah, I'd like to drive a Lamborghini, but I can't. And so I know you want a $10,000 party, but guess what? Me and Mom can't do a $10,000 party, but we can make it an amazing party, and this is how much money I can give towards an amazing party. I think that's the conversation. Well, it's not I think. That's exactly how I would talk it over with my daughter, Josie. I'd get her wish list, get real numbers, and then how can I meet her expectations in a much more budget-conscious way? I think that's where you start.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off because now you're dealing in reality, and then you go, look, babe, this is what I can do.
Yeah, and this stuff, Jason, and I know it's such a cultural part, right? I can see it. Like, I know that it is, and I know, like, and I remember we had a guy call, I think it was from India, and the wedding that he wanted to spend was like $500,000, right? So, like, I totally am aware that there are certain things culturally that the expectation is really big.
But culture should never outrule common sense.
But that's it too. So I'm like, and you could say that about the American culture, right? Weddings or whatever. Like you could plug in other things.
Ridiculous.
So you do have to. There's going to be multiple areas, Jason, within you that you're going to have to be like, this is not. Doesn't feel right. It's not what I wanted. But part of being a grown up too, Jason, is looking at the numbers, what Ken's saying, and it's like, here's the reality. Here's the reality of what we have and what we can, or what I have and what I can do. And
so coming back to you, Jason, you have a real number in your head that you feel like I can't afford. You feel like a guy who's in control of his money situation. You sound really stable. What's the number that you go, if I set it on fire for my daughter, it wouldn't bother me, wouldn't give me a Malox moment? What is that number?
Well, right now, the big thing that is heavy on me is that I haven't even gotten into my investing portion of my life for the future.
I get that, but you didn't answer my question. What's the number that if you know I can give this money to my daughter and I'm not going to lose sleep over it?
As of now, I would say maybe for something like this, 3,000.
Okay. Then now we've got a starting number.
Yeah.
I'm trying to coach you through this practically. You got a number where you go, I know you don't want to spend any money because you think you're behind. You're not. You're going to be fine on your investing. You got to weather this divorce. You got to figure out what the payments are going to be and all that, and you're going to restart, okay? But you're okay. Yeah. But if the number's 3,000, where you go, that's my baby girl, she wants this, I can give her $3,000, then let's start with that, then go get the itemized list, and let's see if we can, get closer to it. That's what I'm trying to do, is get you to a point where you don't let guilt run the day and make a bad financial decision. And I think the 3,000 is a common sense number. Would you agree?
I would say so, yeah.
All right.
And your ex-wife's not going to like it.
Yeah.
Right. So prep for that. And your daughter may not like it.
But she don't like you right now anyway, so we're not losing that deal.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm just keeping it real. What are you going to do? Make her not want to be married to you more? I mean, we've already crossed that bridge. So you got to stick to your guns, man, and get the itemized list.
You, Jason.
Yeah, Jason, you're a good man. You're going to be fine. It's going to be a great party.
Yes.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.